What Travis is doing is something I did not do, Deion did not do.
Travis fits the description of what the Heisman is.
Touchdown, Travis Hunter!
Before Troy Brown played both sides for the Patriots, before Patrick Peterson flipped the field as a return man and shut it down as a corner in Arizona, there was Deion Sanders, a two-way phenom at Florida State, part cornerback, part return specialist, and all-time icon. He didn't just play defense, he played offense, special teams, and everyone who tried to beat him. But now a new era has arrived. Because what happens when a player doesn't just admire primetime, he learns from him, trains with him, and mirrors him. This is the story of the legend who became a coach and the two-headed monster he built in the Rockies, Travis Hunter.
Is who he is. He is the definition of him.
Intercepted! Wow! Hunter just plucks it out of the air!
Before the high steps, before the gold chains and game day shades, and long before he was Coach Prime, Deion Lou Sanders was just a kid from Fort Myers. Raised by his mother Connie and stepfather Willie Knight, he grew up in a neighborhood where talent had to be louder than circumstance. Baseball, basketball, football, it didn't matter. If it had a scoreboard, Deion dominated. At North Fort Myers High School, he was a letterman in 3 sports and earned all-state honors in all of them. That speed you saw at the combine, that swagger on Sundays, it started in the backyard where he was racing anything that moved. He was electric, even then. But it wasn't until he hit Tallahassee that the world took notice. At Florida State, Deion Sanders didn't play one position, he played the game. In 44 games, he picked off 14 passes, returned 3 punts for touchdowns, and averaged over 11 yards per return for his career. And in 1988, he went nuclear. 503 punt return yards on just 33 returns. That's 15.2 a pop. One cut and the crowd was already on its feet. But it wasn't just stats, it was a spectacle. The gold chains, the backpedal, the stare downs, Prime brought showtime to Saturdays and every team on the schedule knew it. He was drafted 5th overall by Atlanta and hit the league like a meteor. Across 14 NFL seasons, Deion Sanders collected 53 interceptions, 9 pick-sixes, and 22 total touchdowns, including scores on defense, special teams, and even offense. He made 8 Pro Bowls, won Defensive Player of the Year, and added 2 Super Bowl rings while shutting down Hall of Fame receivers on the biggest stages. And just when you thought you had him labeled as a corner, he dropped a season at wide receiver that would make most wide receiver 3s jealous. In 1996 for the Dallas Cowboys, Deion started both ways, hauling in 36 receptions for 475 yards and a touchdown, while still locking down receivers and grabbing 2 picks on defense. He was wide receiver 2 and cornerback 1 in the same week, on the same team. He wasn't built for just one job, he was built for all of them. Shutdown corner, return man, offensive weapon, a player who changed the geometry of the field every time he stepped on it. Deion didn't need volume to make noise, he needed one play, one lane, one moment. By the time he was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2011, he had already reshaped football's idea of what a cornerback could be. He turned instinct into interception, flash into function, and most of all, he built a blueprint for every two-way phenom that followed. Now, he's using that blueprint to build something else, or rather, someone else. Before the headlines, before the toe-tap touchdowns and game-saving picks at Colorado, Travis Hunter was just a wiry kid from the suburbs of Georgia, fast, focused, and fearless. Raised by his mother Ferrante Edmonds and his father Travis Hunter Sr., football wasn't just a game, it was a calling. Ferrante handled the structure, including school, discipline, and expectations. Travis Sr., a former player himself, handled the training, footwork, catching drills, and daily reps in the yard. Together, they built a foundation that would carry their son to the top of the recruiting world. At Collins Hill High School in Suwanee, Georgia, Hunter wasn't just a standout, he was a supernova. By the time he graduated, he had racked up over 3,900 receiving yards, 48 touchdowns, and more than 100 passes defended. He was Max Prep's Georgia Player of the Year, a unanimous 5-star recruit, and the #1 overall player in the class of 2022. Offers came in from everywhere: Alabama, Georgia, Clemson, but all signs pointed to Florida State. The same place that Deion Sanders had become primetime was offering Travis a full scholarship. It felt like destiny, so he signed a letter of intent. But on National Signing Day, with the eyes of the college football world watching, Travis Hunter made history. He flipped from Florida State to Jackson State, a historically black college, coached by Deion Sanders. No Power 5 platform, no CFP exposure, just a belief in something bigger, a belief in Deion. The bond between Sanders and Travis ran deep and was more than just a coach-player relationship. It was a mentorship and a friendship, and it was family. Travis didn't pick Jackson State in Colorado just to play for Coach Prime. He wanted to learn from him how to play both sides of the ball, how to handle pressure, how to move in a spotlight without losing your grip on who you are. At Jackson State, Travis wasted no time. He played receiver, he played corner, he scored touchdowns and snatched interceptions, just like Deion once did. And when people said he'd never reach the NFL going that route, he simply tuned them out and tuned in to Prime. Because Travis Hunter wasn't trying to follow everyone else's path. He was following the only man who'd ever lived it. And if you love following legends of the past, present, and future, hit like and subscribe after the video. Some coaches give speeches and design schemes. Deion Sanders gives lessons and designs blueprints. And Travis Hunter isn't just a player Deion is developing. He's the prototype for something legendary. From the moment Hunter arrived at Jackson State and later followed Deion to Colorado, the mission was clear. Build something the world had never seen. A true two-way force, one who could cover your best receiver and be your best receiver. But before you play both ways on Saturday, you've got to train twice as hard Monday through Friday. Travis learned to watch film like a cornerback and read defenses like a quarterback. Deion taught him how to manipulate leverage, disguise coverage, and anticipate throws. Every step, every break, every twitch of the eyes, Deion was teaching him how to steal time. And then, it flipped. Deion put a receiver's hat on him. How do you break a press? How do you sink your hips on a comeback route? You think you're guarding receivers until you become one. There's no handbook for playing 110 snaps a game, but if anyone can write it, it's Deion Sanders. And now he's writing it through Travis. Physical reps, mental reps, social media coaching, NIL awareness, camera presence, because being a modern two-way star doesn't stop with the whistle. Deion drilled Travis on how to be more than marketable, how to be unshakable. When the interviews came, Travis gave clean answers. When critics chimed in, Travis let the tape speak for itself. Deion didn't pull Travis when he got tired, he pushed him through it. He didn't shield him from the spotlight, he taught him to own it. Because Deion knows what it's like to play in front of 80,000 people twice in the same week. I mean, the guy played in Major League Baseball's World Series and won 2 Super Bowl rings, and now he's channeling all of that experience into Travis. You're not watching a coach develop a player, you're watching a legend sculpt a successor. The footwork is prime, the confidence is prime, the edge is prime, but the hands, the balance, the 21st century polish, that's all Travis Hunter. The hype was real. Deion Sanders had brought the cameras, the culture, and the headlines to Boulder, but when the season kicked off in 2023, it wasn't Deion who stole the show, it was Travis Hunter. Against TCU in 100-degree Texas heat, Travis played 129 total snaps at corner, wideout, and on special teams, and somehow he never slowed down. He finished with 11 receptions, a crucial red zone interception, and a performance that broke the internet. But that wasn't the exception. That was the assignment. Deion promised he'd unleash a monster, and that night the world met it. Over the 2023 season, Travis didn't just play both ways, he excelled both ways. He led Colorado in receiving yards per game while shadowing the opponent's wide receiver 1 every week. It wasn't just wide receiver 1 and cornerback 1 on the depth chart, he was wide receiver 1 and quarterback 1 on the tape. In just 9 games, thanks to a mid-season injury, he racked up 721 receiving yards, 5 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions on defense. That's with over 100 snaps per game every week against Pac-12 speed. And if you thought that was just a hot start, he came back even better in 2024. In 2024, Travis exploded. 96 receptions, 1,258 yards and 15 touchdowns as a receiver, 4 interceptions, 11 passes deflected, and 36 tackles as a lockdown corner. He averaged nearly 100 receiving yards per game while still holding opposing wide receivers to single digits. And here's the scary part. Most players don't do this in video games, and yet Travis Hunter was doing it in real time. Deion once played both sides in Dallas, putting up 475 receiving yards and 2 interceptions. Travis did triple that on offense and doubled the picks on defense. Same blueprint, sharper tools. His footwork mirrored Deion's, fluid, patient, explosive. His ball tracking was elite. His recovery speed is terrifying, and his swagger is unapologetic. Travis was doing more than going out and just playing football. He was redefining what one player could be. He became the first modern FBS player to log 1,000 receiving yards and 4 interceptions in a season. Not since the Iron Man days has anyone pulled that off, and he did it while being targeted like a wide receiver 1 and schemed against like a shutdown corner. That's not just athleticism, that's obsession. That's legacy building in real time. Travis Hunter was turning heads in the college football world, but not everyone was a believer. Coming into the 2023 season, there was no shortage of critics claiming no one could play both ways full-time in the FBS. Well, then Travis dominated on both sides of the ball in Week 1 against TCU while playing 129 snaps. For a brief moment, the doubters were silenced, but it didn't last long, because the same voices that praised him in Week 1 started doubting him again by Week 3. He's doing too much. He can't keep that pace up. No one plays 120 snaps without breaking down, and then he did. One late hit changed everything. A cheap shot near the sideline left Travis Hunter with a lacerated liver and sidelined him for 3 critical games. Suddenly, the critics had fuel. He's too fragile. This isn't sustainable. Deion needs to protect him from himself. But that's the thing about Deion Sanders. He never protected Travis from pressure. He forged him in it. 3 weeks later, Travis came back, not cautious, not on a snap count, but full throttle, and he picked up right where he left off. In his first game back, he hauled in 13 catches for 140 yards, a touchdown, and a near pick 6 dropped by inches. No ramp up, no fear, no complaints. Travis Hunter didn't just recover, he got better. Over his final 7 games of 2023, he averaged over 120 all-purpose yards per game and racked up 4 interceptions on defense. The too many snaps crowd was silent, and the protect him critics were gone. Because Travis wasn't playing through pressure, he was the one applying it. Deion didn't coddle him, he challenged him. He didn't shield Travis from adversity, he sharpened him with it. And in return, Travis gave Coach Prime something back: grit, silence, and production. No excuses, just answers. Most players hit a wall. Travis hit the wall, climbed the wall, and ran routes around it. Because when the world said he's doing too much, Travis answered the only way that matters. He kept doing it. And just when the doubters got quiet, Travis gave them something they had to respect. In December of 2024, he became the first full-time two-way player in modern college football history to win the Heisman Trophy.
Heisman Award goes to Travis Hunter.
1,200 yards and 15 touchdowns as a receiver, 4 interceptions as a corner. He was more than the most versatile player in America. Travis was also the best player in America. The Heisman voters didn't just see the numbers. They saw what Deion had seen all along: a generational athlete doing something no one else could touch. No hats got more camera time. No name was whispered more behind closed doors, because Travis Hunter wasn't just a draft prospect. He was a revolution in cleats. And when the Jaguars moved up to take him at number 2 overall, it sent a message loud enough to echo across the league.
The Jacksonville Jaguars select Travis Hunter, wide receiver, defensive back from Colorado.
They didn't want the best corner. They didn't want the best receiver. They wanted both in one body. It had never happened in the modern era. A player who starred both ways in college, drafted not as a curiosity, but as a cornerstone. Jacksonville didn't hesitate. They already had the quarterback, now they had the unicorn. With new head coach Liam Cohen taking over after the Doug Peterson era ended, the Jaguars were building a new identity: fast, versatile, fearless. And Travis was the blueprint. Day 1, he was splitting time in meetings, half offense and half defense. Learning 2 playbooks, sitting in 2 rooms, running 2 tempos. No hesitation, no complaints. This wasn't about novelty, this was production. In his final college season at Colorado, Hunter caught 96 passes, scored 15 touchdowns, and still had time to record 4 interceptions and 11 passes deflected as a full-time DB. Scouts tried to compare him to Charles Woodson, to Deion himself, but let's be honest, they'd never seen anything like this. Deion gave him the schematic, but Travis built something bigger. Now he's in the NFL with the spotlight hotter than ever, a fan base starving for something special, and a coach in Liam Cohen who sees the future unfolding snap by snap. The Jaguars aren't easing Travis in either. You don't draft a Ferrari to keep it in the garage, and Travis, he's not built for part-time greatness. He's built to change the game. Travis Hunter's time with Deion Sanders at Jackson State in Colorado wasn't a mentorship, it was a mirror. Deion didn't just coach Travis Hunter, he built him. Every footwork drill, every film session, every snap played on both sides of the ball, it all started with Prime. And when people asked why does he trust this kid so much, Deion never flinched before answering, because I see me, just with better tools. What started at Jackson State grew in Boulder and now lives on in Jacksonville, Florida. Because when a legend passes the torch to someone worthy, the flame doesn't dim, it spreads. Travis Hunter isn't copying Deion Sanders, he's completing him. One was the prototype, the other is the proof that it works. He played both ways in high school. He shocked the world on signing day. He became a two-way force in college, and now he's in the NFL. So we'll ask it plain and simple. Is Travis Hunter the future of football, or did Deion Sanders just create the next NFL superstar? If you believe in legends, past and future, hit like, drop a comment, and subscribe to Snap Count. We've got more stories where this one came from.